Charlie Webster is the outgoing Maine Republican chairman. Now, he's a bit of an oddball. Back in 2011, he thought that college students were engaging in voter fraud, 200 of them. It's always in the hundreds with Charlie. That report, an allegation, was later found to be baseless. Really? Well, now he sees different kinds of folks that he's worried about in Maine. Let's go to a local report on it.
On Tuesday. I mean, literally hundreds of new people came in. We don't know if they're residents or not, but they came in and voted. For example, in some parts of rural Maine, there were dozens of black people who came in and voted election day. Everybody has the right to vote. But nobody in town knows anybody that's black. How did that happen? I don't know. We're going to find out. The system, without some kind of an ID or without some kind of way to check, is fraught for abuse.
That's awesome. I never seen a black person around here. And then all of a sudden, all these black people show up. I said, what's going on? He said later, of course not backing away because he's a Republican, he said, I'm not talking about 15 or 20. I'm talking about hundreds. Hundreds of black folks. It's always hundreds. And then later he said this.
I see black people.
Maybe that's his kid. How many blacks are there in Maine? Well, they're 1.3% of the population, and among the voters in Maine, there were just a little over 7,000. So now, are there black voters in Maine? Yes. Did they go in droves to particular towns that had never seen black people before? A little unlikely. So, but Charlie, undaunted, continues. He says, do we want people who live in a motel deciding who we send to the state legislature when they never vote again in Maine? Who are these people in motels? What are you talking about? By the way, just let me quickly do an aside here to tell you the Secretary of State in Maine said, we got no other reports of hundreds of black people, whether they were in motels or otherwise, going to vote in Maine. Of course! But he's got more theories. Charlie also says, do we want people who are illegal aliens, illegal Americans from Canada or another state? Do we want them influencing our elections? I think I should probably stop his Maine accent. All right. I love this, because he's the only guy in the country worrying about illegal aliens from Canada. All right, hey, there we go. We were wondering when that concern would be. You see, we got all these black people from Canada. They're coming in droves. They're coming in hundreds. They're staying at the motels. I know it for sure. Charlie Webster continues. This guy's not done. Okay, he says, young men come to the door in their summertime, tell them that the Republicans, particularly LePage, we're going to take away their food stamps, their welfare checks, their disability, and they brought them a ballot and they voted. What? So his theory is, well, of course, minorities, they're going to get swayed. And by the way, you heard this from Mitt Romney, you heard it from Paul Ryan, you're hearing it from all the Republicans. They want the gifts, right? And they got bribed. Oh, Obama's going to give them all these things, and the Republicans are going to take away their food stamps, their eligibility, etc. So apparently these mad roving gang of black Canadians are coming in and telling the people, hey, here's a ballot, vote for Democrats, and then during election day they come back and they vote themselves, etc. It goes on and on. And let me see, we already covered this. So Charlie says, if you live in a town of a few hundred people, you go to the post office every day. Oh, no, this is awesome. This isn't just black folks now. Wait, get a load of this. If you go to the post office every day, if there's someone who doesn't look like you, you usually know that. And so there I thought, okay, he's talking about the black people again. No, continuing. And that's why when folks called me and said, where did this Chinese man come from? We don't have any Chinese people here. Where'd they come from? Well, I don't know. It's a good point. So apparently we got the Chinese too. He's like, where did the black people come from? Oh, they're illegal aliens from Canada, aren't they? Oh my God, now the Chinese are here. What are we going to do? This guy's an awesome brand of crazy. So of course he got in massive trouble. He had doubled down, but now finally, when pressed again, and it's national news, he says, I apologize for my recent remarks about African-American voter turnout in rural Maine towns. It was my intention to talk not about race, but about perceived voting irregularities. He continues, however, my comments were made without proof of wrongdoing, and they had the unintended consequence of casting aspersions on an entire group of Americans. For that, I am truly sorry. So, no, Charlie, you misunderstood. It didn't cast aspersions on anybody, except for the part where you talked about, oh, the food stamps and stuff. Yeah, that was the usual brand of Republican racism. But the rest of it wasn't. it didn't cast aspersions on black people. It cast aspersions on yourself. You look like an idiot. The problem isn't that it was racist to say there's all these hundreds of black people in Maine voting. The problem is that it isn't true. You had no evidence for it. Nobody has any evidence for it. It's like a weird conspiracy theory to come up with. And so the bottom line is you've done nothing but amuse us. But don't worry. We don't think you're that racist. We just think you're an idiot.